we don't exactly know. What we do know is that whoever was there, they were women and they came early to honor the Lord. I was listening to an historical scholar on the radio the other day, and he was explaining the Roman fascination with crucifixion as a means of both physical and psychological control over those whom they would conquer and subjugate. One of the greatest horrors for a Jew facing crucifixion was that once crucified, they would not be properly buried. The bodies were left just to hang on the cross, rotting. So the birds and the vermin and the bugs would finally find their nourishment in what was left. Well, there are countless historical records of crucifixion. This historian was suggesting that only one body has ever been found that could be clearly identified as having been crucified. The decimation was so effective and so complete that we're told that Jesus' body was taken down and buried is itself a miracle of sorts. That's just not what happened. We thank God for that miracle. No body, no empty tomb, no Easter. We know that God would have found a way. God always finds a way. But thank God for this exception to that rule. Even as he died, Jesus was surrounded by the miracle. When the woman arrived, she discovered that the stone had been removed from the tomb. The historical evidence might suggest that this was possibly a large kind of rounded stone that rolled in a trough cut into the ground to cover the entrance. You know, I've always wondered about that kind of entryway for a tomb. I mean, though it was probably heavy and awkward and required many hands to move, why go to all that trouble to make such a formal door and a track for it to ride in when it's the entrance to a tomb? You don't worry about how freely and easily your door opens unless you open it regularly. And how many times do you open a tomb? Why go to all the trouble for a place of burial? However it had been constructed, as the women arrived, it was open. And that tomb was empty. I don't know about you, but I think that would kind of freak me out. They've been running ads on TV for an upcoming movie about a funeral, and it's a comedy, go figure. Anyway, this young black man approaches the open casket to pay respects to his father, and there he discovers an Asian man who is not his father. In the movie, that surprise is funny. For the women on that first Easter morning, the surprise was not so funny. Their hearts were already heavy. The sorrow was already nearly crushing, and here was one more thing. They have taken my Lord. Some surprises are good and anticipated. When you walk through the door, the lights come up, your friends and family yell, "Surprise!" That can be good. Your teenager has been dating and comes to you and says, "I think we're pregnant." Usually not so good. To find the grave of one who is loved, decimated, not a good surprise. Now, in our modern society, in our culture, such a story could easily be the theme for a crime drama. Law and Order, or CSI, or NCIS, or Numbers. We seem to have this fascination in our day with the tragedies of others and the process to solve their crimes. In an oppressive society, in a situation where the police are not your friends, and when calling them is just as likely to lead to your own arrest as it is in solving the original crime, there's an overwhelming sense of hopelessness. It's that darkness that I was talking about earlier. Darkness without a candle to light the way. Darkness that's a metaphor for the hopelessness. Darkness that's like a cave from which there is seemingly no escape. But this was no TV crime drama. This was not the Mystery Channel. This was not Miss Marple or Monk. This was Jesus. This was God at work. This was Easter morning. One can only imagine the anguish, the uncertainty, the fear as the hours of that day passed. It may have been only minutes. It may have been hours from the time they went to the tomb, went back to tell the others, and went back again. It probably felt like days, the burden weighing heavy on their hearts, the uncertainty of not knowing what had happened. Now, this time again, it was dark. The storms were raging, the storms in their minds, the storms of doubt and fear. But then, just as suddenly as night had consumed the day, there was a crack in the sky and light began to return. There were angels appearing. Angels with a message. Angels proclaiming that all was not lost. Angels telling them, you're looking in the wrong place. There was a stranger, someone who belonged there and yet was out of place. The gardener? Some maintenance worker? What's going on? Who is this? What's he saying? Finally, there is one word that makes it all clear. Mary. Something so simple as calling her name, Mary, and everything is all right. The clouds are gone, the sun again fills the sky, the shadows are beaten back. It's Easter, and all is well with the world. Stealing the line from Scarlett O'Hara, tomorrow is another day. There's hope. There's promise. The gateway between life and death has been opened and we're able to step through. We've not yet reached the destination, but we're on the way, following the path, making our way toward a destination that is secure and real. Whatever happens along the way, it will be okay. One way or another, we will get there. How do we step from darkness into light? What is it that will transform our lives? What will change us from what we were to what we have potential to become? What will make the difference? Every one of us has faced despair. Every one of us has known loss. No one is exempt from the feeling that things are not as they should have and could have been. We've all walked in darkness, wondering from where and when will the light again return, if it will return at all. Easter. Easter is our hope for that dilemma. Easter for the believer is the answer. Easter is the reason to believe, the reason to keep going, the reason to know that there is more than just the moment in which we find ourselves. What is it that will transform our lives? It is when you or I, with the certainty of Mary, can declare, I have seen the Lord. Thank God for Easter. Amen.